So what we did in the last session, we discussed about flows. Right, we are working with flows automation, and that was an important topic as I mentioned earlier to you as well. That flows is an important topic. So in the last session, we discussed about scheduled triggered flow. Basically, we have worked on screen flow. We worked on scheduled triggered flow, job portal scheduled trigger that uh, every day the requirement was an automation will trigger on daily basis. Every day an automation will run at a particular on a particular time, and it will check are there any active. First of all, it will fetch the details of the active job portals, and then it will iterate throughout those job portals throughout the records, and it will check if the job portal is going to expire in next 2 days. It will send a reminder email to the owner, and if portal subscription end date is already over, let's suppose the yesterday was the last day of the subscription and still it is open, then what happened? It will deactivate that portal automatically. We have to deactivate this. That's what we'll be doing. That's what we did, and we have successfully tested that also. Remember that we have done that. That so that automation we have already discussed. So today we are going to talk about the other automations. Okay, so this automation we have tested earlier, and it was working perfectly fine. Right, we have tested that and it worked perfectly fine. So let's talk about the new flows, and there is another flow. So we have discussed about screen flow, we discussed triggered flow, we worked on scheduled triggered flow, right? And there is one flow which is called platform event triggered flow. Now this flow is very important and it's very useful, right? This flow is very useful. Now let me explain you that why this flow will be useful, what's the benefit of that, and how this useful, basically how this flow will be useful, right? How this flow is useful. So that will be going to discuss that. So you can imagine like this. Let's say, uh, yeah, let's say we created one flow. Basically, we created one flow. Let's say screen flow, or we created one record triggered flow. Record trigger flow. Okay, understand this concept. We created a screen flow, or we created a record trigger flow. You know that we'll be working in a multi-user platform. Multi-user platform. Now, when I say multi-user platform means we got multiple users, more than one users. They are going to perform the operation. They will be going to access this multi-user platform. Now, let's say user A. We got three users: user A, user B, user C. Okay, I got three users. Right, I got three users: user A, user B, user C. Clear? User A, user B, user C. I got three users: user A, user B, user C. Now, one flow can be accessed by many users. Basically, let's suppose there is a record triggered flow. There is a record flow to add new, basically to add a new candidate record. Okay, there is a record triggered flow to add a new candidate record. Clear to you? Right? Now, for example, user A logged in and create a new candidate record. And as soon as this user A add a new candidate record, so basically record triggered flow to send an email every time a new candidate record will be get created. New candidate record gets new candidate record will be created. Clear? So record trigger flow to send an email every time a new candidate record will be created. Clear? Okay. So now it is like this. Let's say user A added a record, added a new candidate record. User B add a new candidate record. User C add a new candidate record. So these three, user A, user B, user C, they added three candidate record. They added new candidate record, right? Let's say user A added a new candidate record, but it get failed due to some reason. User B added a new candidate record, it is succeeded. User C added a new candidate record, then it's also get failed. Okay, it get failed. User A, user B, user C, both all three users, they try to add a new record, but what happened? The record get failed. Basically, user A operation failed. User B success. User C failed. Okay, user A, user B, user C, like this. So how do we get to know? How do we track this? How do we track this? First of all, basically I just want to, so what's the requirement? The requirement is I want to capture issues in a, I just want to capture the issues created by flows in a custom object. Okay, that's the requirement. So basically I just want to capture the issues. I just want to capture the issues created by the flows, and that information I want to store in a custom objects. That's what I want. That's the requirement. Now there are two possible ways. Number one, in like inside a flow, we have to write a code that when a flow throw an error, whenever a flow throw an error, we would like to capture the information, we would like to capture the record, we would like to capture the error in a custom object. Okay, we would like to capture the issue in a custom object. Clear? So we would like to capture the issue in a custom object. That's what we want. That is the first thing. So that means, let's say if we created 10 flows, 10 different flows. So that means inside every flow we have to write a code, we have to write a logic to capture the issues to add a record into a new custom object that this issue is from this particular flow. That is the one solution. That means if you create a 10 flow, in every flow you have to write a code, you have to write a logic to create a record inside a custom object. That is the first thing. Clear? That is the first approach. Second approach is we create, we'll be using one record, this one, we'll be using one platform event triggered flow. What do we do then? We'll use a platform event trigger flow. We'll use platform event trigger flow. And what this platform event trigger flow will does? This platform event trigger flow helps to capture issues raised by flows during operations and store that issue in a custom object. Store that issue in a custom object. So this I would like to perform. This is the way we can do it like this. We can perform this. We can do it by using this custom. We can perform this operation by using this, by using platform event trigger flow. That is the purpose of this platform event trigger. See what it says. Launch when a platform event message received. This auto launch flow runs in the background. That means whenever an error occurs or some operation happens, whenever some operation occurs, right? So this will run in the background. This auto launch flow runs in the background. Launch when a platform event message is received. So I select platform event triggered flow. Now in this platform event trigger flow, see these are the platform events. API predictions, API anomaly, batch. So let's suppose if you are performing some, remember we did the batch operations in development. So if the batch apex throw an error, so we can track that also and capture that information, capture the issues in a custom object, or we can take the actions accordingly. Bulk API, right? Or this is some data object, data transformation. See this flow execution, like, or login event, or okay. So these all are the various operations. So here I just wanted to track that if the flow triggers an error, if the error occurs because of a flow, so that I want to capture, that issue I want to capture in an object. So how do we do this? So for this, what I'm going to do, first of all, I'll create a new custom object because we want to track that. So therefore, I'm going to create a new custom object name as custom error log. Custom error logs. Custom error log, let's say, I'll give it as, let's say, error log ID. And I'll keep it as auto number, let's say ER 0000 and 1. Right? Error log ID, we can generate the, I just want to generate reports also later on, and launch. Okay, so this is the new custom object I will be going to create, name as custom error logs. Here in this object, let me add a couple of fields. New field, and the first field is the error. So I say text area long, and let's say error message. Next, error message, and flow name. I want to capture flow name also. Let's say text area. Flow name will be a small, so I keep it text and label this as flow name. So I just want to track that this error occurred from which flow. So flow name. Okay. And I just want to create one more field to capture username also. So again, I use a text. So basically, I just want to track that who run this flow when this error occurred. So I just want to track that also. So basically, I added 3 fields in this custom error log object. So all and new, and you can see error message, flow name, and username. I want to track this error message, flow name, and username. These 3 things I want. Error message, flow name, and username. I want to track this. Okay. So now, how do we do this? First of all, let me. Okay, here, flow execution error event, and let me save this. So I just write here flow platform event error, or let's say platform event error flow. That's the flow name. I have to refresh this once. Reason, because just now we added a new custom object. Okay, so let's do one thing. We have created a couple of flows, and if you remember, there is a flow on our home page also. We have created a flow to add a new candidate input form. Remember that? This was the flow we created to add a new candidate record. This one, new candidate input screen flow. Let's suppose if this new candidate input screen flow, it trigger an error due to any reason. Maybe the candidate name was required, but what happened? Let me open this screen 1 and uncheck this. Okay, although the candidate name is required, but just in case I did not set it as a required, So in this case, if I try to add a record without adding a candidate name, let's suppose can123@gmail.com, phone number, date of birth 1980, and when I try to save this, it will throw an error. So what's the problem? Why this error occurred? This I want to track inside a flow. Okay, so this error I would like to track inside a flow. That's what I want. This is what my requirement is. And also the other flows, the acknowledgement email or auto populate email or any flow trigger an error. That error message, that error, we just want to track into this custom error log. That I want to track here. That's the purpose of this platform event triggered flow. Right now you can see we don't have any records. Okay, we do not have any records right now, but I want to track it. So how do I do this? Here, I just did a platform event triggered flow, and the event is flow execution error event. And then we'll be going to create a new record. I just want to create a record, or let's say log flow error in custom object. How to set record manually? Which object? Custom error log object. And in this custom error log object, we got fields. What are the fields? Error message, flow name. So error message, flow name. Okay, error message, flow name, and username. I want to track username also. So let's say username. Now error message. So when you click and scroll down, you can see triggering flow execution, and here you can see error message, flow error message, flow name. Again, scroll down, triggering flow execution and flow name, flow API name. Third is username. So let's say running flow interview. We have the fault message interview group, not this one. And running user. What is the running user? The user running the flow. So click on this, and I want to track user name. So user role ID, username, first name, last name. We don't have full name actually. There is no field for full name. So I can say first name plus. Okay, we have to store this somewhere. Let's say I just keep it as the first name. Okay, and close this. That's all. And activate this. Let's test it now. So how do I test it? Right now you can see no customer logs. I go to home and enter a record. Let's say test. Okay, I did not mention any name. Test can1234@gmail.com. Phone number, date of birth 1980, and click on save. And when I click on save, it's an error. Let's check whether this issue logged into custom error log or not. Get activated and custom error log. This. And that's the old one. Okay, so the log not generated. Let me do one thing. Let me remove this username, error message, flow name, flow API name. Let me try. Sometimes what happens, this might be possible that it's not tracking the username. Let me try one more time. Refresh this. It is activated, and test can 123@gmail.com, phone number, date of birth 1980, and click on save. Let's refresh. What's the problem? The record added, record created, custom error log object, error message flow name. No worries. Let me just check custom error log. Sometimes it takes time to update. So long text area, flow name will be text. That's fine. Flow name will be text. 250. Flow name. And I'm using here flow name, triggering flow event, flow API name. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, it's generated. See, it takes some time to update, right? So let me run and I'm able to see the error. That's the issue. Required fields are missing, full name is missing, and the issue is from new candidate info screen. Custom error log. Okay. So this log get generated, it takes some time to reflect. So now the issue is it's not taking the username. We have a field called username field, so we have to use running flow execution event and user, and from here it's a text. So for text I keep it as a name field, full name. Let me try this. Activate and refresh. Test can @gmail.com, phone number. Try to save this. Error. Refresh. A new record will be added, and the username is still not working. Is activated. Username. Sorry. Let me close all of them. So I got this, and I'm not getting this full name. So it's not getting the name. Okay. And what else we have? System, running user role, running user profile, running user dot, first name, last name, let's say username, save as a new version, and activate this, refresh. Save this record and custom error log, error number 3. Yeah, I'm getting this. Get it? So that's the way we can get the user name. Clear to you? This is the use of this platform event trigger flow. Understood? What is this? This is platform event trigger flow. I hope it is clear to you. Platform event trigger flow. What is a platform event trigger flow and how it is used?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, got it.
Yeah. So, and the advantage of using this platform event trigger flow is that whenever we perform an operation on any object, whenever we perform an operation on an object, and if there is a flow mapped with that, or there would be a flow tied up to that, right? If there is a flow tied up to that, so what happens then? It is going to this platform, and if that flow runs an error, so this platform event trigger flow will run automatically. Okay, and it will log the issues. So like this way, the end user, we will be knowing, or not the end user, basically the internal user, the team, they will be knowing that why this issue get generated and who basically which user was using this, so this issue occurs, right? Why this issue occurs, so they will be knowing this. It will be easy for them to figure it out. Clear to you? This is about platform event trigger flow. Fine. Okay. Now we have another flow, and what's that flow? Let me close this. Go back to law flows. So what I will be doing, I will be sharing one video to you. In that video, I have explained about record trigger orchestration flow. This one, record trigger orchestration flow. Now, what is a record trigger orchestration flow? Let's try to understand this. I'll tell you the concept, and then you can follow that video and practice it out. And still, if you face any difficulties or any issues, do let me know so I can guide you. I can help you with that. So you can understand a concept like this. Let's say user A creates an account, and as soon as a new account gets created, user A creates a new account. User A creates a new account. As a new account will be created, then as a new account will get created, then it will, okay, basically you can say then assign a task to user B to create related contact. Okay, so then assign a task to user B to create related contact for the account created by user A. That's the requirement. Got it? That's the requirement. So what do we want to do? We would like to basically let's say I'm a user A and I created a new account. As soon as I create a new account, what happened? A task will be assigned to you, and you can see the task somewhere on here. Basically, let's open the sales. So as soon as I create a new account, a task will be assigned to you, and you can see that work guide. Basically, it's a task or a work guide, and that work guide will be available here. That work guide will display here. It will display here on just in between the header and this detail in between somewhere here. It will display a work guide. But the thing is that work guide will be only visible to you as a user B, and what you have to do, you need to create a new contact. You need to add a new contact. This is a task, and the thing is that work guide will be only visible to you. I will not be able to see that work guide. I will not be able to preview that work guide because that work guide will be assigned to you only. Is that clear? That work guide will be assigned to you only. Only you will be able to see that work guide. I will not be able to see that work guide. Is that clear? So that work guide will be only visible to you because it is.
So to whom we are creating, they will be able to see it. The person who creates it won't be able to see it. Okay.
No, what did I mention? If I assign that work guide to you, then only you will be able to see. Then only you will be able to use that work guide.
Okay.
Okay. Just think like this. Just think like this. If any task is assigned to you, so only you have to perform the task. The other users, they are not going to perform the task. Okay. Even though I am a project manager, still I will not be able to perform your task because the task is assigned to you, so you have to complete that task.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Okay.
So only you will be able to perform the task or complete the task. I will not be able to complete that task because it is assigned to you only. So only you can perform it. I will not be able to perform that. I will not be able to. Clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's what I want. Okay, that's what. So that can be achieved by using record, trigger, orchestration. So I will share that with you. You can follow that. You can try that out with that video. Otherwise, do let me know. I can explain that to you. But it's not very complicated. I'll tell you in that what you have to do. We need to create one screen flow and one record trigger orchestration flow, and we will be going to use will be going to use that will be going to use that screen flow inside record trigger orchestration flow. Okay. Also, and also I've explained in that how to pass the value from record trigger orchestration to screen flow. How do we pass the value from one flow to another? That also you will then that also you will get to know in that record in that exercise. Clear to you? So
Okay.
practice it out. Just go through that video. Still, if you face some difficulties, as I mentioned, do let me know. I'll explain that to you in the next class.
Okay. You will be sharing the link?
Yeah, I will be sharing the link. I believe that I have already shared you that link of the
A
YouTube
flow
channel, if you
link?
remember. The flow link, right?
Yeah.
So you have that. So if you open that, if you open it right now, you will be able to see that.
Let me
But
open.
still, let me just ping you. Let me just ping you one more time, just in case if and record figure orchestration, share, copy. Okay, I've shared to you. Also, if you see that there are a couple of other videos also I've added some more things. How to configure the lookup component in a screen flow. There are some new features has been added in the screen in the flow. So that also I have added in that. Uh, for that also I have created one video. You can check it out. How can we create a flow
Okay.
by using Einstein, Salesforce Einstein? So that will help you. So that will guide you how to do that. Okay,
Okay.
so you can go through that when you get time. So especially like after this class or tomorrow, you can look into that, check that out, and practice it.
Okay. Yeah.
Clear? Right. Now, that is about the flow. Now, the next topic which we are about to start, that is called that is the reports, and that's the last topic of our admin module. Right. Now, when we talk about reports,
Okay.
but the very first question comes in the mind that why do we need to create reports? Any idea? Any guesses? Any
Uh,
why to create reports?
I lost you so much.
Sorry.
Just got you back. No, I lost you. I just got you back.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So my question is that why do we create reports? What's the reason of creating reports? Any idea?
Yeah. To summarize activities.
To summarize activities or to visualize the things, to
Yeah.
visualize the data. That is the important thing. We would like to visualize the data.
Right.
Right. The important thing is we want to visualize the data. Just imagine you are a decision maker. Okay, you are a decision maker. You are a decision maker. Let's suppose you are the VP in a company. You are the decision maker. Clear? Now, as a decision maker or being a decision maker, what you need to do is you need to take some decisions, but only you can only take the decisions when you have the information handy with you. For example, if you are a sales, if you want to decide whether we should proceed whether we should proceed with this product in this, whether we should proceed, we should sell this product in this region or not. How can we decide that? We can only decide. We can only decide that once we have, once we do a, you can say once we do a research in that area, or we just take the feedback from the customers, or we get, or we just take, basically we just get the summary of the sales what we have done in the, whatever sales we have done in last couple of months. Based on that, we will decide, we'll take the decision whether we should start selling a product in this region or not. Clear? So if we are not getting enough customers, we are not making much profit, then why should we make, why should we keep doing marketing in that region? Let's suppose I manufacture a product and I'm just selling that product in a specific region, but I'm not getting enough customers. So why should I invest money? Why should I spend some effort? Why should I invest my time, effort, money, everything for that product in that region? What I'll do then, I will try to sell that product in a different region, in a different region. Clear to you?
Yes.
Right. So that's the thing we required. Basically, the decision makers will be there, and the decision makers. So being a decision maker, we want to take decisions. But the thing is, as I mentioned, that we can only take decisions once we have the things, once we have the information handy. And how do we get the information handy? We can get the information handy in the form of reports and dashboards. Okay, we can get the information handy in the form of reports and dashboards. Clear? So so what we need to do now, we need to prepare reports. We need to work with reports now. Okay, we need to work with reports now. How do we create reports? Clear? So when we want to work reports, or when we want to create reports, so in Salesforce, we have an option to create reports. We can create reports in Salesforce. In Salesforce, we can create 4 types of reports. And finally, once the reports will be added, once the reports will be created, we can place all the reports together in one single screen. Okay, we can place all the reports together in one single screen. Clear to you?
You mean all the type of reports?
Yeah, all the type of reports can be placed together in one single screen. And once we place all the reports together in one single screen, that is called dashboards.
Dashboard. Okay.
Right. So first of all, we need to create reports. We need to work on reports. Once the reports will get created, we can place all the reports together in one single screen. So that also we have to figure it out. That also we need to discuss. Okay, so what we'll do now, how we are going to start? We are going to start with the reports. Now, as I mentioned, in Salesforce, we can create 4 types of reports. First is tabular report. Second is a summary report. Third is matrix report. Fourth will be joint report. Also, when we say matrix report, any idea about pivot table in Excel? Have you worked with pivot table in Excel? Any time?
Yeah, it's long
right?
back.
So matrix report will be equivalent to the pivot table. Okay, it's similar to the pivot table in Excel. Okay. Also, the summary, the tabular report, summary report, and matrix report, these reports get designed by getting the data from one single object. Okay, only from one single object. And also the reports will be dependent, the reports will be depend on objects. Okay,
for
the
the
reports,
the tabular, summary, and matrix.
that's right. So the tabular report, summary report, and matrix, no, all reports, even the joint report also, all the reports will be depend on the objects. Now, why the reports will be why the reports will be depend on the object? Because where are your data? Where are the data? In the objects. Okay, so we have all the information in our objects. So therefore, the reports will be depend on our objects. So that means, let's suppose we have created one report. Okay, for example, we created one report, and then what happened? Okay, if we created a report based on an object, and in future, if I add some more records in that object, okay, if we add more records in that object, so what happened then? Whenever we refresh that report, right? Whenever we refresh that report, it gets automatically updated.
Updated. Okay.
The reports get updated automatically. Clear? Now, at the same time, the dashboard will be depend on the reports. Okay, so the dashboard will be depend on the reports. So that means whenever I refresh a dashboard, so dashboard will give instruction to the reports that I have been instructed to refresh. So dashboard will request two reports. Report will get refreshed and it will get the updated info from the object. So that means whenever we refresh a dashboard, first a report get refreshed, and the report get refreshed based on it will fetch the updated info from the object. Based on that, the report get updated and then the dashboard get refreshed. Clear? So they all are interconnected to each other. I hope it is clear to you. Right?
Yes,
so,
got it.
Right. So this is all a theoretical thing. How we are going to implement this practically, that I will tell you in the next session. Also,
okay.
the first three reports which I talk about, the summary report, tabular report, and matrix report, they only get the data from one object. But the fourth report, the joint report, okay, let's suppose I want to display the account with its related contacts, or I want to display the candidate and its related job application, or let's say position with related job application. So then we can use then we can use joint report.
Okay.
Okay, then we can work with joint report. Okay, right. So that we will discuss in next session.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Clear?
Yeah.
Right. So try the so by the time before next session, please go through the link which I have shared to you. Just look into